promises made are going to be fulfilled. Last night will be the start of the revitalization of the east side and downtown with the passage of those two referendums. But I also want to point out what the Bexar County and the food bank did this morning. We pivoted this morning. I got up at 7 a.m. to be here for food distribution. I want to remind the public that we must take care of our children and families. And so this morning we had a food distribution that wasn't pre-planned because of the election, but it was because of the immediate need of food insecurity. We had 500 families that responded through the food bank. Bexar County employees and volunteers from Bexar County stepped up to actually distribute the food along myself and my staff. So there's a recognition that, yes, we have an opportunity for growth and prosperity, but we also have immediate needs of food insecurity, lack of access to health care, housing insecurity. Those are things that Bexar County, especially as you see with my shirt of being the chief of the Office of Emergency Management, is to protect our citizens. And so, although I continue to celebrate and look forward, we do have much hard work to do in order to make sure that all our citizens are protected. And it's an opportunity at this time to answer any questions that you may have.
Judge,
Garrett.
I think the question on everybody's mind is, when does the new arena open? When does this area around here get transformed?
Nothing's going to start till we get the contracts. Using the baseball stadium's template, so to speak, there was some hard-fought negotiation. One of the strengths of that baseball stadium was the commitment by Bexar County for affordable housing in the urban core to help build up bringing children and families to the San Antonio Independent School District. And so those are issues that we are now committing into formal agreements. And so to now juxtapose to the current, we've got a lot of work to do, Garrett, before we can even break ground. We need to make sure that the contributions that the San Antonio Spurs made toward the new venue and the investment around. I also want to reemphasize, we have to also focus in on the infrastructure around those areas. And here at the Joe Harry Freeman Coliseum behind me and the Frost Bank Center and the Coliseum grounds, we also have an opportunity to revitalize, asking the San Antonio Rodeo to develop a year-round plan. They have done that. We have a design concept, but we are far from breaking ground, so to speak. We know that the current lease for the Frost Bank Center and the San Antonio Spurs run to 2032. The Spurs have indicated that they are probably going to go towards the end of that lease before anything happens. So we have a lot of work to do. I look forward to working with my county commissioners. I look forward to working with the city council and the San Antonio Spurs, the San Antonio Rodeo, to revitalize the east side and the downtown area with the passage of these two referendums.
Judge, that was said beforehand when this was being built, that the east side would be restaurants, business. It never came. What do you tell those people who still bring that up? Because
it wasn't put into any contract. It was all agreements, promises made, but there were nothing put into writing that would have guaranteed those stipulations to develop. You'll see the Bexar County is prepared to unroll and unveil a public-private partnership with a master development for this particular area. You see toward the south of this particular area are warehouses. So the long-term vision is to deindustrialize this area so that we can then bring in the schools, the hospitals, the affordable housing that this community needs. So what we first have to do is the referendum A for the county facility is the foundational piece in order so that, one, Frost Bank Center stays viable, does not become the next Astrodome. We need to fix up the Joe Harry Freeman Coliseum and the Coliseum grounds so that the San Antonio Rodeo can so that we can start bringing in families. So this becomes a multi-use venues, turning those barns with dirt floors into multi-use, bringing in small businesses, restaurants, having an entertainment center, a Pearl-like environment here, green it up. We've got, but we need this for the entire facility so that people will come here, because the status quo is not the way to go in this regard. If all we do is bring people here for one-night events, they come and go. We need an economic generator that will bring people here and stay. The San Antonio Rodeo has made it real clear that their events go over 2-3 days, maybe a week long, of all kinds of rodeo events. And so this is an exciting opportunity for the east side, and what's good for the east side is good for the entire county.
The rodeo is not talked about having separate businesses. It's talked about year-round programming,
Yes.
but you're talking about bringing in other businesses on these grounds, or are you talking about the other areas? Because that seems like a difference between what the rodeo is describing and what you're describing.
Those are the plans the rodeo has, but the county has a more expansive plan on the long term, and that is to try to bring master development, much like the baseball stadium contracts. Western Urban, in that baseball stadium, committed $1 billion of building up that vacant area around the Fox Tech area where the baseball stadium is going to be. And the stadium will not kick in or start until those projects by the private investment are happening. Those are the same type of stipulations we want to see for these grounds to make sure that the promises to the east side are fulfilled.
You're talking on these, and just to be clear, you're talking on this footprint. You're not talking surrounding property.
And on the long term, we're looking at this whole area, but for now, we're looking for the county facilities. The Frostbank Center, the Joe Harry Freeman Coliseum, and the Coliseum grounds are the foundational piece to create that economic generation so that we have growth and prosperity, especially here in the east side.
How long will it take to generate the funds from the venue tax for these projects?
It's my understanding through our county manager that's a 30-year type process, where understanding that in regards to the actual money that goes to the Frostbank Center and the upgrades that they need to the Joe Harry Freeman Coliseum, bonds will be sold. That is the same kind of template for the baseball stadium. And so this county venue tax will be responsible so that the burden is not on the homeowner property tax. They're not on the homeowners, on renters. They will be on the tourist tax. And I think the public last night understood that. And that's the reason why A and B passed.
If those fail to generate the money that you need to pay off those bonds, would then regular taxpayers, I guess, be on
those are the stipulations that we will continue to negotiate with the San Antonio Spurs. We know that the San Antonio Spurs, at least in the initial term sheet with the city of San Antonio, have guaranteed that all cost overruns will be imposed upon the San Antonio Spurs. Those are negotiating points to make sure that the taxpayers of Bexar County are protected.
So, Judge, you're still talking with the Spurs about contracts and all that, right?
Yes, the hard work is yet to come. We have to get this thing into a contract if we're to make sure that everybody is held accountable, and it's in an open and transparent way so that everybody understands the contract, the details that everybody, we have put it out in general form of a letter of intent and a term sheet, but those are just general provisions. We're going to have to let the lawyers get involved, and I will tell you that will get that document, a very extensive document that will hold people accountable.
Ballpark time frame, even just years. Can you give us any ballpark of a time frame?
Years before I see. That'll be up to Spurs in regards to that. In regards to the county facilities, I intend to be meeting with the Coliseum Advisory Board, which oversees the management. I intend to meet with the San Antonio Rodeo this week in order that we start putting into plan that schematics and then the timelines and the design and what the Bexar County has to do in working with the San Antonio Rodeo and the Coliseum Advisory Board.
You put out an RFQ for what to do with the Willow Springs Golf Course. How many responses did you get, and what do those plans look like?
We have one, and that we did not want to unveil that RFQ until we had this election. And so that is the next step to show. But understand, we have to get community buy-in. We have to share this with the city council. We have to share this with the rodeo, with the Spurs, to understand that this is a master development, a public-private partnership that will not be imposed, again, on homeowner property. Private investment that we hope to bring to fruition.
Judge, the talk with the Spurs, does that include who's going to run concession stands in that new place, parking, booking concerts?
Yes, the Spurs Entertainment will be in that negotiation as to who is going to run what, understanding that at this point, the new arena is going to be a city-county Spurs enterprise, and we'll figure out who shares and what responsibility and who is also going to cover those costs and overruns. Obviously, the Spurs have guaranteed that. and not put it on the
That's
taxpayer.
a county's going to have a portion of that as well. My understanding
Those-
was it was city-owned.
Those are negotiating points that we are yet to come to an agreement on.
And as far as you said, the Frost Bank Center, the Spurs have indicated they're planning to run toward the end of the lease. How close? Can you give us any ballparks?
No, they have indicated that depending on the financing and the contract negotiations and the stipulations that the city and the county are going to impose, we have no, except that they really feel that they'll be running close to the end of the lease period before they'll actually vacate the Frost Bank Center.
And when would you be willing to let them leave early without penalties? Because there are penalties.
Those are negotiating points that we will continue to engage with.
Have you had any discussions recently with the city about transferring Willow Springs to the county?
No, that is yet to be done. We wanted to be very careful and respectful of the city council and the positions they have to take.
And are you willing to share more about what the response to the RFQ looks like? I know
Yes.
you talked about a resort-style hotel. Can you share a little bit more with the public?
At this point, I'm waiting for those type of due diligence negotiations with city council, with our stakeholders, with the rodeo, with the Spurs. And when we are prepared, then we will obviously need community engagement. We will also need the input of the community as what they think of these proposals using a master development public-private partnership, not using homeowner property tax.
How are you feeling right now about this whole situation?
I'm feeling great, but again, I'm reminded and remind our community that we have people that are food insecure, that have lack of access, healthcare access, lack of housing insecurity, and we must meet the immediate needs. And this morning was a sobering moment that there were people in tears accepting the food distribution from the volunteers of Bexar County and the employees of Bexar County and myself, just saying thank you. We have hungry people. We need this federal shutdown to hopefully get resolved. It is hurting people. People are hungry now. So this is a reminder of, yeah, we celebrated last night, but then we have hard work to do on a daily basis.
Do you expect the county to play any sort of role in downtown development beyond the arena, the other parts of Project Marvel and the district that people are talking about?
Yes, the Spurs have that obligation, and they have made that commitment to do that.
This the passage of Prop A and B yesterday, that does not require the expenditure of this money, correct? You would, now that it's been given the green light, you said there's still contracts to go. So if this deal falls apart, which it sounds like nobody really wants, but if it does, I mean, what happens with that?
The county is committed to make sure that we protect our citizens, just like what we did this morning. And so in regards to the Proposition A and B, yeah, the passage hasn't guaranteed anything until the contracts are signed, sealed, and delivered, committing, protecting the taxpayers, protecting the county, and obviously the city will be doing the same thing too. And then the city and the county will have to partner up, so to speak, as to how we partner up as local governments. And I'm confident that we will be able to do that.
On another subject, can you talk to us a little bit about the past proposed 3, that it's the bail reform amendment?
Well, the ones that were committed to I know there was one proposition for the dementia and for those people. There was one that was going to provide aid for the disabled if their housing was subject to some fire destruction. So there were some really great propositions in there that were really helpful for the families of Bexar County. And so I'm proud to see them pass. I did vote against some of them, but I'll be real blunt. There was a very complex, long proposition of constitutional amendments last night.
But what did you
And
think
so-
about that?
The bail reform amendment.
As a former district court judge, I know that the rule of law that is currently in effect protects the citizens. I put a public safety commission when I first started my first year, when we had violent offenders shooting at police officers shooting at violent offenders, and we had finger pointing in essence by the law enforcement and the district attorney's office. I, as a county judge, said, let's bring everybody together. Let's bring the law enforcement, let's bring the district attorney's office, but also the judges and the sheriff who run the jail and the magistrates there. And I think because of that public safety committee and the recommendations made, we saw that things stabilized and the finger pointing stopped. And so in regards to the proposition, I do not believe it was necessary. that is a reflection of how local government, city, county, and all the partners, the stakeholders, can come together and protect this community.
Judge, the county's putting so much money into this new arena. The city is. This is from visitors' tax.
Right.
Once that goal is reached, does that tax go away?
Yes.
So if people hadn't voted on this, the tax would have gone away.
Well,
once the current funding was done.
No.
Same idea.
Okay. Let me get clarification on that question. It had the referendum not passed. If referendum A and B had not passed, then there obviously would be no collection of the venue tax.
It would expire after you're done paying off this.
Well, there would be no tax increase. Now understand that the current 1.75% of the county hot tax, the hotel occupancy tax, is being collected. So yesterday's vote will increase 1.75% to 2%. I've indicated the math. 1.75% on a $200 stay here paid by tourists is $3.50. To take it to 2% takes it to $4.50. So that tax is what that increase that is not imposed on the homeowner property taxes is going to then come into the county venue tax that must, by law, be dedicated to the venue. So obviously we've had prior renovations. I believe the all those are being paid by our current venue tax. So the venue tax is ongoing. The venue, this is not the start of a venue tax. All it does is allow the increase now, so that this increase over a 30-year period can now include the Proposition A, which was the expansion and the renovation of Frostbank Center, Joe Harry Freeman Coliseum, and the Coliseum grounds. 2 was whatever was left up to a cap of 25% or $311 million would be going to a Spurs venue new arena, period. This was not Project Marvel.
We got that. It's just with the venue tax, once the approved projects, so the original Frostbank Center, the 2008 stuff, now the stuff that was done yesterday, once all those are paid off, these taxes expire, correct?
No, the taxes
it just collects for nothing, or
those taxes stay in collection till the voters. That's the issue for county venue tax. Whatever expenditures must be done by voter approval, and that's what happened last night.
So Bexar County citizens, when they go rent a car, if they go
if they have that stay, yes.
Now, years ago, when you told them, I'm a citizen, they won't tax you on a car rental. That's gone.
Every person who rents a car in Bexar County pays a 5% rental car tax.
And this tax takes place immediately or 2026?
Those are the technical details. I'd have to refer that to the county manager.
How do you expect to get more benefits or anything else for Bexar County when there's a term sheet laid out that's kind of attached to what voters voted?
Because what the referendums A and B stand for, in my opinion, is not only support our 2 most valuable community assets, the San Antonio Rodeo and the San Antonio Spurs, but it also stands for growth. And that was a message that I put out as county judge in regards to this referendum. With growth comes prosperity. What that means is we've got to continue to bring in jobs, which we're doing with advanced manufacturing down to the south side. There are 2 Japanese manufacturing plants that are coming. We have a Japanese heavy headquarters here. We have a plastic manufacturing coming next year and breaking ground. Toyota down there has a $500 million, and we have thousands of jobs that are coming in as a result of growth. And so that's the reason why the referendums A and B were so crucial, is because we must continue to grow. Status quo, staying the same, is not the way to go. And that's the reason why I did not want to have the Frostbank Center become the next Astrodome, or just sit there and have it not renovated and upgraded so that it could compete for all the venues that we have in this town. I am positive that this will be an economic generator once we put the foundation piece that Proposition A will bring to the east side. revitalization of the east side, and what's good for the east side is good for the entire county. Righty?
One last question. Does anybody have?
Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm going.
Real quick. just-
Well, hold on. Let me get.
Yeah, we're just
Let
gonna
me
get
pull
ourselves
the
in.
mic. Pull the mics.
Yeah, we gotta break down and
Yeah.
get moving.
All right. Make sure you guys take the right one.
Whose is this?
By my
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be out there.
Other folks will be there.
Catch me over there.
Guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll see you on.
Thank you, Judge, for your
Thank you
time.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim, for everything.